So we look at foot conformation, you hear normal. You pick up a book, well, this guy's got a normal foot. Well, here's a normal foot. Well, after 30 years, I still haven't figured out what normal is. Okay? Because normal is sort of, it's an individual thing. I'd rather call it a good foot, an ideal foot, a functional foot, whatever you want to call it. But look at some of the variations. We have the long toe, underrun heel, club foot. As I get my phone off here. Sheared heels, contracted heels, mismatched feet, whatever. Let's look at, here's what we would consider an ideal foot. Okay? That here's the alignment of our digit, hoof pastern axis. There's diagrammatically. And you read the books, well, the heel should match the toe. It doesn't work. Okay? Whether your horse is barefoot or whether he's shod, this is hard, mature horn in your toe and your quarters. Okay? In the blue one, this is immature horn. It's virgin horn coming down. If it wasn't flexible, thin horn, it wouldn't be able to expand, would it? Okay? And if this yellow one is fixed as the horse moves, and if the blue one expands against your shoe or against the ground in a 30-day period, it's going to be lower than that, isn't it? Can't have this. Very rarely you see something like that. Okay? Let's put a coronary band in there. Green, I love colors. Okay? And you see how you have a nice gradual slope from toe to heel. Okay? If you have a flat coronary band, you basically got a high heel or a club foot. If your coronary band falls away, you've lost your heel. Okay? And there again, here's what we're talking about. There is the center of rotation. Okay? There is trim to the base of the frog, and it's as wide as it is long. Don't get no better than that. Okay. Now, let's look at some distortions. You've heard about the broken back hoof pastern axis. Okay? Okay. Look at the tension it puts on the tendon. Okay, there's your broken back. Well, what you see here is, look at your hoof, look at your tubules. They're starting to become parallel with the ground. Okay? Your frog's coming around, and here's your end of your heel. Your frog's trying to follow your heel. Look at how the coronary band just falls down to the ground there. Okay? Look how you've lost your ground surface. Instead of being there, it's there. Okay? You start to bear weight here. Okay? Here's a radiographically. Remember, if we're in alignment here, we bear weight on the whole bottom of the bone. If you look at the broken back alignment here, look at the bone come down. You're bearing your weight here, aren't you? Zip. Okay? Instead of across the whole thing. And you'll hear right now there's a thing called a negative negative palmar angle. Probably everybody in the room's heard about it. The horse got negative palmar. What does negative palmar angle mean? It means that the coffin bone has a lower angle than the front margin of the bone, doesn't it? Well, how did it get that way? You lost the soft tissue structures in the back of your foot. You can't put them back in. That's what it means. Okay? You ever see a foot that stands like that has a broken back hoof pastern axis? Mm-mm. What happens sometimes in these horses is that, again, look at the growth rings on this horse. Something that's very important here. Okay? Look at the growth ring here, quarters, heel. It's even, isn't it? But now look at the end of the heel because you're not bringing your ground surface back to where it wants to be. You're starting to allow your heels to grow forward. Okay? Look at it a little further. Here we're getting down the road. Okay? Now look at the change. You're getting here less growth here. The tubules are getting more parallel to the ground, and everything's starting to grow forward. Okay? What happened to that line that comes down here? Look where it is now. Okay? Now when we get to a stage like this, you'll see that the frog has prolapsed out the back. Your bars are crushed underneath here. Your hoof wall has turned in underneath itself. Okay? You're getting separations there. And this foot has no more ability to bear weight in the back of the foot because the hoof, the tubule have just turned in on itself like a hinge. This is underrun compared to a low-heeled horse. Underrun means they start to move inwards. Now, you see where the horseshoe was? Now you're bearing your weight on this. Okay? The more weight you bear on this, the more you beat that thing up. Okay? Again, this is just to re-emphasize. You see where, look at the hoof, the sole depth you have here, but you've lost those structures in the back there. Okay? So, you're dropping down. There's your weight bearing. Now let's turn it around. Here's a club-footed horse. Broken forward hoof pastern axis. Okay? You see how we got a high heel? Now, when this horse lands, he grows heel to compensate for his tendon being a little short. Now the frog gets sort of lost up in between the hoof wall because of all this heel growth. Now when he lands, he doesn't have anything to dissipate energy in the back of the foot. So the hoof wall, the weight bearing, the energy goes right onto the bone. Okay? This is what it looks like radiographically. Again, here you have a shortening of this tendon that attaches here. But see, now he's bearing all his weight there instead of, again, on the whole length there. Sheared heels is, again, remember I started out showing you that one side of the first phalanx, or P1, was a little longer and a little higher than the other side. Gives the horse just that tendency to land on one side of the foot and then come over. Well, this is what happens when his conformation, his knee starts to go out and goes with it. Look at the length of this heel. Look at the length of this heel on the inside. See how it's pushed up? Okay? Good. You look at this whole heel being, because he's landing outside and coming inwards. And this is purely a farrier problem. And this is a cause of heel pain in and of itself. Mismatched feet. Here's your upright foot. Here is your long foot. A lot of times they'll come in, horses will come in for this upright foot or this clubby type foot, a little shortness of stride. And what's really the problem is the low-heeled foot, is because over time the shortness of stride makes it so this horse has more time with this foot on the ground. In other words, a shortened stride. Okay, so it's going to take its toll on that heel over time. This is what you call a contracted heel. Okay, it means the old adage, if you don't use it, you lose it. Okay, look at that frog, and you pick up a horse's foot, and you look at it like this, and you look at that frog, and you say, whoa, man, we got a problem here. Because there's been a period of time where the horse has not been using the back of his foot. Okay? And if you want to really be fancy, or your farrier wants to be fancy, you say, well, how do you know this horse has contracted heels? Number one is that if you look at the curve you have in the bar should be straight. Now, well, let's take a magic marker and put a little beak there, and a little eye, and some ruffles, and you got the head of a bird, don't you? You do it on any horse that has a contracted tendon. Again, the frog is a telltale sign there's something wrong in the back. And it should be 67 to 70% the width of the length. Again, want to go back to the heel base. It's critical. Again, that's what we're talking about, a heel base. Pretty fair heel base here, but again, if we put a line in there, you can see that we can bring that heel back just a little further. We want to come to the base of the frog. We want to have that whole structure in the back working together. Okay, we take a foot like this. Okay, here's a horse that tried to go barefoot. The only thing he has to walk on is a little bit of heel. But you see where it's just turned over. He has no heel base. He has nothing there to bear weight except this flattened structure there that's getting crushed. The frog, the digital cushion, and structure. Okay? Again, you pretty well see my pattern now. There we got the widest part of the foot. There's the center of rotation. Let's make that as wide as it is long. That's biomechanics. Now, you've seen this, so we can pick up the next foot you see. Pick up this, here's a racehorse, okay? Take the widest part of the foot. Draw a line in there. Okay? Now take the base of the frog. Put another line there. You can see right away, look at this distance from there to there and the distance from there to there. We can see that we need to just bring everything back to there. You have your foot back in perspective. Radiographs are finding that they don't have to be used on every horse, but horses that you really just can't get the horses happy or the way you like, they can play just as big a role, not only in diagnostics, but also in how you want to go ahead and trim the horse's foot. Okay? But look what we can see with a radiograph. We can see the hoof pastern axis. Okay? We can see the center of rotation. Okay? We can see how much sole depth we have. We can decide where we want to put our breakover, our digital breakover. Okay? We can look at the palmar angle. And then, most important, we can see where we want to place our shoe when it works. Okay? I mean, look at those, how much information we can get just off a lateral radiograph. Okay? Don't poo-poo AP as well. And again, look at the ground surface from medial to lateral. Look at the lever that you have on this side. Okay? Look at it relationship to the ground. Look at the difference in the joint space here. That's critical. All these joint spaces should be the same. When you see that much disparity in a joint space, okay? Think of what's happening to that joint every time that horse puts weight on the foot. Okay? So now, you guys are going to be experts here pretty soon. Let's take a radiograph of a horse, got a shoe on, okay? Whammo, let's put our, not bad, is it? Pretty well shot. There's the breakover in our shoe. There's the length. There's our hoof pastern axis, basically as wide as it is long. But now let's take some other radiographs and look at something here. Okay, look at this one and look at this one. Look at where this horse is bearing weight. You know, look at where his shoe should be. So you can see right away from your x-ray where your farrier has to go or where your farrier and your vet has to go or where the biomechanics are in your foot.